You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
So,
now full disclosure. A few years ago, I edited a book for Idea Men Productions called Monster Alley, which you can purchase at Amazon.com, or you can go to smichaelwilson.com and find a link there, or you can find a link to purchase Monster Alley at Moviesucktastic.com. Monster Alley is also available on the Kindle for the low price of, I believe it's $7.99. Could be $8.99, but I think it's $7.99.
Wow, that's a great deal.
And it might be dropping lower tonight. Wink, wink. What?
Your camera just went to widescreen. It always seems to happen when we start reviewing the movie. I find that peculiar. Your camera just froze. I just see a very angry face on my screen right now. Did I lose you? Are you back?
Yeah, I'll fix that. No, you didn't. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I'll unfreeze that in a second. And the problem is my monitor keeps changing resolution on me at random.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got my laptop into my my wonderful brand new
docking station.
Docking station. Yeah, hang on a second. I will pause myself and unpause myself, and I will magically.
Oh no, the video's okay now.
Oh, then I won't bother. Hello.
Okay.
Peter Jackson.
Yes.
So Monster Alley came out. I edited it, and I have 3 articles in it. One is called "What Would Jason Do?" I had to close my video. I'm watching myself, my pretty face. I can't look away. I'm like a peacock in the mirror. Monster Alley, What Would Jason Do?, which was an article about horror films and the moral code that you learn from them. And then I had an article, Eating the Worm, which is about the Lair of the White Worm. And my favorite part, I love that article because I wrote it ages ago, and I just dissect the whole dream sequence in that, the imagery involved in that, and it still amazes me when I read it how probably completely full of shit it is. But it's a good article. And then I also wrote A Giant Falls, which is a critical look at Peter Jackson's King Kong, which I have up on PDF in front of me right now on my oddly resized screen. Okay, that's why. Yeah, all right, it looks good. And it's all about how I grew up as a Peter Jackson fan. I saw Bad Taste back when it was like in Fangoria magazine. It was the big thing, and every film he did I loved. They were cult classics. They were low budget and they were wacky.
Oh, yeah.
And they were bloody, and then
Meet the Feebles.
Yeah, I saw that in a theater. That's how much hardcore.
Did you really?
Yeah,
wow.
They did a showing at the I think it was the Film Forum in the Village, and I saw it there, and that was awesome seeing that on a big screen. The only Muppet movie would have been Vietnam Flashback, or not Muppet, the puppet movie.
Yeah,
and you haven't lived until you've seen puppets playing Russian roulette. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Oh, I was about to toss my cookies. There's no volume from you again.
I'm back.
Good.
My screen is resized again.
It's kind of odd that it just randomly just is doing it.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So full disclosure, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to cover King Kong, because I've already seen the film 30 times and written a 14-page review of it. So a lot of what I'm going to say is just pretty much lifted out of my article. I actually have my article open in front of me for reference because I spent a lot of time researching it and watching the film ad nauseum. So I'm going to let Joey take the reins for the most part because he just rewatched the film for the first time.
I did.
In a while. And so
Now,
I'm going to interject occasionally, but I want to hear your fresh take on it since you just, you've never watched the film like I have, which is insanely.
yeah, you just watch it over and over and over and over
Right.
because you were writing such a large article about it.
Right. And I do that while I'm writing about films. So I want to hear you go into it, and after you.
Well, first of all, just to be on the technical side, just a little bit. I think the film does it overall how it looks. I think it looks great. I think Jack Black is miscast. I don't like him in that role at all.
I don't like Jack Black at all.
Yeah, yes, we all know this.
Yes.
I don't think Jack Black. I don't think he's right for the movie, and I think any of the scenes of him, they don't work well. I don't know how Jack Black was able to land this $200 million budget film. I don't know where that came from. Where Peter Jackson sat back and said, you know what, Jack Black in the role of the director, yeah, that's gonna work. I just don't know where. I don't see it. And rewatching the movie, I just think any of the scenes. Oh, this is the really bad CGI with the dinosaurs.
Oh,
they're running alongside of them.
Oh, that's the one.
Oh yeah. It's a $200 million movie, yet he has many scenes where the CGI is so, the blue screening or green screen is so bad. This is one of them.
What's his name with the cigar? Who's that? That's the guy who played Darth Maul.
The guy with the cigar? No, that's Andy Serkis.
Not Darth Maul. I meant
Gollum.
Gollum, thank you. Yeah, the guy who played Gollum. He got the cigar in his mouth.
Yeah, right. But it's and there's a few scenes where the CGI is that poor, where the green screening with the CGI is that poor.
Well, I can tell you why he cast Jack Black as that character is because because it's this major film, again, epic 3 hour, however, it's a 3 hour, right?
Yeah. 3 hours,
it's an epic
7
movie.
minutes.
It's an epic adventure, action, whatever. You need comic relief in the film, and the only place you really have. And the only place you have to interject comic relief in this film is through this huckster film producer.
Right.
He's really the only area. So you need to get somebody that can do comedy and can also act. But they decided instead to go with Jack Black, who can't do either.
Right.
In my opinion, obviously, he seems to be doing quite well.
As far as the film takes too long to get started. I think it's a full 45 minutes or so before they even get to the island.
By the time they get to the island in Peter Jackson's King Kong, in the original, he's already breaking free in New York. They're already showing him on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I read...
It's ridiculous.
I have I have the wiki for King Kong in front of me.
Uh-huh.
The film... Here's difficulties. This is where it says under difficulties. The film's budget climbed from an initial $150 million to a record-breaking $207 million. I'm assuming it was the most expensive film in 2005 ever.
Before Avatar.
Universal Pictures only agreed to such an outlay after seeing a screening of the unfinished film, to which executives responded enthusiastically. Marketing and promotion costs were an estimated $60 million. The film's length also grew, originally to be set at 135 minutes. It grew to 200, prompting Universal executives to fly to New Zealand to view a rough cut, but they liked it, so their concerns were addressed. Now, when I hear that the film was supposed to be 135 minutes, I see a better film. Everything in the New York part of the film I liked. Everything in the jungle, I didn't hate, but it just dragged on way too long.
So you like the whole vaudeville thing?
No, not in the... Oh, I should reiterate. The end, the New York stuff at the end, I liked.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay,
yeah.
the vaudeville shit in the beginning was stupid.
So you like the timeout in Central Park?
No, I would have got rid of that.
Yeah,
I would have got rid of that.
Hold on, we're going through a rampage. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
No. No. I shouldn't say I liked the New York stuff at the end completely. I liked most of it. I really did. I thought a lot of the New York stuff at the end of the film worked out well.
No.
No,
No, I don't. And I will go into detail on what I hated about the New York part, if you like.
Yeah, well, when we get to it.
Okay.
I think overall, as a film, it was just way too long. And you'll almost never hear me say that about a movie, that it was way too long. Because I think for the most part, the director's vision, it's long a lot of times for a reason. Because they feel that what they're doing isn't going to fit in a 2-hour time span. And I think at this case, that so wasn't the case. This could have been cut into a 2-hour movie. 2.5 at best. But no, it had to be 3 hours and 7 minutes. It had to be Peter Jackson in epic mode. There's actually a longer cut, which is what that 200-minute cut is, which they cut down to 3 hours and 7 minutes. You know, it just, when's it going to end? So you know The Hobbit, part 1 and 2, they're both going to be 3-hour films. And you also know that when they do the extended cuts like they did with The Lord of the Rings, both films are probably going to be roughly about 3.5 to 4 hours each. That's just a guarantee.
Yeah.
Because Peter Jackson cannot get out of epic mode. He just can't. When he did The Lovely Bones, and it bombed, that was a 2-hour movie, 2-hour, 15-minute film. When it bombed, everyone was saying, well, maybe, or at least I was saying, maybe he'll get out of epic mode. Maybe he will do that zombie film. Maybe he will not have to think a movie needs to be 3 to 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And what ended up happening was Guillermo del Toro backed out of The Hobbit because of all the MGM problems. And then Peter Jackson took the reins and is now back in epic mode. And when both of these films, 48 frames per second or not, make $300 million each time, expect more epic mode movies from Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable.
Well, no, what sucks about that, and am I cutting you off on this?
No.
What sucks about that is that if it wasn't for Godzilla, we wouldn't have gotten the epic King Kong.
This is true.
Because King Kong was in pre-production, then Godzilla came out, and instead of saying, oh, gee, it bombed because it was a shitty movie, Hollywood
Right.
no, they just don't want to see big monsters. Let's cancel the King Kong film. Again, you know, which is why I defend Tom Cruise every time they blame him for the films that didn't do well. It had nothing to do with him.
I don't buy that 100%.
But you're wrong.
I mean, I think now, the Tom Cruise argument doesn't work. I think
because now he's in good films.
Well, no. Well, here.
No.
Just get off topic just for a hair.
When
Tom Cruise was back jumping on couches in 2005, or whatever it was, I think it was 2005 when War of the Worlds came out.
I would draw the statement.
That affected War of the Worlds.
It did not.
Don't tell me it didn't.
It did not.
If Tom Cruise wasn't jumping on couches, and Tom Cruise was just being normal Tom Cruise, where he didn't make a fool of himself, he didn't draw attention to himself, I can guarantee you War of the Worlds would have done better.
No, because no one wanted.
Yes.
Are you there? No, no one wanted.
War of the Worlds made $70 million its opening weekend. That's a great opening weekend.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it would have did 90, maybe 100 if he's not jumping on couches saying, "Oh, I love this woman."
No, because it's War of the Worlds.
Scientology is great.
No, because it's War of the Worlds. Everybody knows War of the Worlds story, and it's just another big. Again, it's just another bigger, better version of the thing.
I don't buy it.
You're wrong. It's okay.
I think it's okay to accept when you're wrong, and I'm not.
You really are. But
I'm really not.
But the point is, they blame Godzilla bombing on it not being a shitty film, but instead on it being a big monster movie. Do you agree that was wrong?
I agree with that.
All right, thank you. I'm right on both, but I'll take that one.
You're not right on both. I'll give you Godzilla,
really
though.
Am. And
so
they canceled King Kong. Now, his screenplay at that point was about archaeologists.
Jackson's.
Yeah, Jackson's screenplay back when they canceled it back in the Godzilla era was it 89, 90, 90 something.
When Godzilla came out?
Yeah.
Godzilla came out in 98.
98, right. I mean, that's what I meant, 98,
97, 98, something like that.
Right. So when they canceled it, the script was about archaeologists that go to the island. It was like a straight film. Now,
good.
Right, but
that's
then
that's probably why it was going to be 135 minutes.
Well, that was back then, right. So what happens is now you go into epic mode later, And remember we were talking about the Titanic, where Cameron's whole bookend thing is, he's filming the Titanic, and he learns about it. It's like he's so fucking ego bound. He's putting himself in the film. All of a sudden, Jackson changed the screenplay. No, it's about Hollywood, you see, and it's about a filmmaker who tries to make this big film, and he has to go out there and say, it's you. You're doing it yourself. And he splits himself into two characters. He splits himself into the Jack Black character, the Adrian Brody character.
Right.
So he's the hardworking artist writer, and he's the huckster. He's like schizophrenic now because now he's a part of the Hollywood system. And he's in the back room jerking off with Cameron and Lucas. And so he puts himself in the film, and now it's all myopic. It's all about him. And that's why I think that. So that's part of the reason why I think Jack Black was chosen as the role.
Okay.
But it wouldn't have been an epic like it is now. He tore it apart on if they hadn't shit canned it because of Godzilla.
Okay.
I
agree. I agree. Now fuck Tom Cruise. Stop that. Tom Cruise. We're not talking about Tom Cruise
Ghost
anymore.
Protocol rocked.
I heard it was awesome. I haven't seen it yet.
It was.
Well, that's Brad Bird for you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Brad Bird, The Incredibles, Iron Giant. I mean, they were just begging to give him an action film. Do a live action film, and it worked. So I expect more great things from Brad Bird.
Right.
So, but that's another episode, obviously.
So in the opening of King Kong,
yes,
Jack Black's the weakest link because we spend the most time with him, right? I mean, really, it's. What do you think? Before they get on the boat.
Before they get on the boat.
All it is the Jack Black character setup, the whole thing about like vaudeville. So it's like the true artists versus the entertainment artists.
Yeah,
which is a bit of self-loathing on Peter Jackson's part.
Well, you know what's funny? When the film opens up to Depression era, when it opens up, I didn't realize that Depression era could look so epic. That opening shot. Even though it's during the Depression, everyone's, looking for their next meal. They don't have work. But it just had this epic, this broad, like epic look to it. It's just, It didn't work.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And I mean, that's just the opening of the film. If you don't know that the rest of the film isn't going to work either after seeing the opening of the film, you're just tricking yourself. Yeah. You could just tell it's sets, people in costumes. I've seen more realistic Depression era looking films.
Yeah,
I really have.
Well, we can't make it dirty. People want to see a good movie.
Well, yeah. There's a film that Russell Crowe did. It was called. It was a boxing film.
Yeah, I know.
And
Cinderella Man.
Cinderella Man. Thank you. I don't know. I'm off tonight. That took place during the Depression, and that looked like it was during the Depression.
Wasn't an epic.
Everything looked appropriate.
It wasn't an epic.
It wasn't.
See, the part when I knew we were in trouble is when the young wannabe actress is talking to the old vaudevillian guy, and all of a sudden, like they snap into like all of a sudden they're in Mordor, or they're like or what's the elf place in the films?
Oh, that's Rivendell.
All of a sudden they're in Rivendell. It's like, it was 20 years ago. In the old days. Now you can't even. It's like they stare off into space and everything. Like the music starts swelling. It's like, Peter. We don't need a soliloquy here. We're opening the film. Let's just come on. Show a guy juggling. She walks out. There's a clothesline on the door. Next scene. What the fuck is this? You could that whole opening. You can rewrite too. Again. Vaudeville theater, big clothesline on it. She walks out crying. She walks into a cafe. She can't pay for her drink. Jack Black sits down. I'll buy that for you. You got a picture. You got a face made for pictures. I got a deal for you. Next thing you know, she's on the boat. There, we're done. Let's get on the boat. Introduce Adrian Brody once it roll. It's like he's everything's got to be so set up. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. So overall, what I thought of the film is basically what I thought of it 7 years ago. I thought it was an okay film. Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it. I think there's little things that I like that keep me in the movie. You know, not all of the jungle stuff is bad. Takes too long, but not all of it's bad. Not all of the New York stuff is bad either. I like most of it, to be honest. The beginning, I think someone brought up recently that if someone could cut the movie The Happening into a 30-minute film, could it be good? And I think we should take on that task.
I'm halfway through mine.
Oh, are you really?
I'm doing it.
That's awesome.
I'm doing it linearly,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I'm at the point where where they're racing from the wind after the military guy shoots himself.
Okay.
And I got to that point in about 15 minutes.
No kidding.
I might be down to half an hour before I get to the end. I'm trimming here and there.
That's awesome.
So
I can't wait to see it.
I haven't worked on it.
To see it.
I haven't worked on it this week, but I got half of it done last week, and I'm going to finish it up this weekend, I think, if I have time.
Awesome. But I think the same could be done for this movie. And it's not the first time. There are movies are taken all the time, like Phantom Menace. There is a cut that's released. Well, I mean, it's a fan edit, so it's called the Phantom Edit, where they cut out everything Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is not in the film at all. And it's cut down for time.
Uh-huh.
And it's also cut in such a way that, from what I understand, is supposed to make the movie better.
How do you cut Jar Jar out, though? Wow.
Completely out.
How? How do you do that?
I don't know. I haven't seen the cut, but I know it exists, and I know it's running around on the internet. So it's called the Phantom Edit.
Yeah, I want to get more into fan edits too, because I just saw that someone has out now. They have the Kill Bill Whole Bloody Thing fan edit.
The Whole Bloody Affair. Right,
the Whole Bloody Affair, because they finally canceled that project. Like, apparently it's not coming out now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this.
Well, I think you said there's supposed to be a Kill Bill Volume 3, and I made the prediction a while ago that that's when the cut will actually be released. Is when Kill Bill Volume 3 comes out.
But apparently it's not even like in a holding pattern now. They just canceled the idea of doing it, from what I've heard.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I'm wrong, but so the person did the fan edit said, you know what? If it's not coming out, I'm releasing my fan edit. So it's out there.
Well, you know what? I actually did acquire the fan edit of the Whole Bloody Affair, and what I didn't like about it was the framing was wrong.
Really?
The aspect ratio was completely off. It took a 16:9 aspect ratio and it squished it in such a way that I felt that it was unwatchable.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the fan edit's been redone and it's now better. I don't know. I may look into it again.
Well, since we're talking about the length of the film, here's an example I mentioned in my article in Monster Rally, available at Amazon.com. The deckhands, Jimmy and Hayes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right, Jimmy's been working on the venture as a crew hand for a couple of years, and ever since Hayes found him stowing away among the animal deck, he was a stowaway. So since then, Hayes has been, a war veteran, and he now he's like taking Jimmy under his wings, right? And there's this kind of like homosexual thing going on there too, which I actually wouldn't have minded hearing a bit more about, because it's obviously there. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, because I don't think it's a negative thing, but there's definitely, he's way too protective of the kid, and vice versa. Where there's more than the father-son thing going on there, if you know what I mean. And we, like, again, I know that Jimmy's been working on the venture as a crew hand ever since he was found stowed away by Hayes, right?
Correct.
I know that.
On that very ship.
Am I changing format?
Changing aspect ratio again. Don't get me wrong, the widescreen angle looks awesome. We got to keep one or the other.
Well, you can't hear me.
No, I can hear you, but you're static.
I'm not doing it.
I understand this. Now I can't hear you. Neither can anyone else.
I'm here now. Hello? Can you hear me?
Ah, thank you.
Thank you. But so I know that, and I know that Hayes was fought in the war when he was a young man, and he's become a father figure, mentor to Jimmy. I know he's constantly trying to prevent Jimmy from reverting to the habits of his thieving, freeloading youth. And I know Hayes wants Jimmy to re-educate himself, not about the world around him, but also about the thoughts and desires that motivate men. Why do I know this? There are two guys working on the boat, right?
Right.
Why do I know this? Why do I know all this backstory for two insignificant characters?
Because it needs to be put into a 3-hour film.
I don't know this much about the actor who's playing in the film.
Right.
The what's his name? The guy that's, what?
Adrian Brody.
No. The actor that's co-starring in the movie they're filming when they.
Yeah, Buster,
whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that much. His backstory was done perfectly. They show him smiling at the mirror. There's a movie poster behind him. That's it. We know the character. I mean, he's great with.
He's a smug Hollywood actor,
right? And that's perfect screenwriting. It was characterization by Artifact, and you learn more as you went through the film. And we didn't spend time describing it. There was no backstory explained. So for this major character, he uses real screenwriting techniques to develop the character and to introduce the character. Yet these fucking deckhands get their own soliloquy. Again, we're in Rivendell again. Sometimes men think dark thoughts, deep thoughts, but they can't submit to them. Man's better than that. Man's not
Jimmy
a beast. Yeah.
I found Jimmy in the hull of the ship. He wouldn't tell me where he came from.
Jimmy.
It's like,
Jimmy.
What?
Speaking of
you need to read, Jimmy. You need to get an education.
Speaking of man and beast, Jimmy.
Okay. Man and beast. Oh, wow.
But again, the deckhands are having soliloquies and talking about, having philosophical conversations. Why? Because we're in epic mode again. He's got to have a cast of thousands. He's got to have all these. He's got to have 4 storylines going on simultaneously. He can't just devote himself to one because he's in epic mode.
Yeah.
Or as I call it in the article, post-Hobbit stress syndrome.
Post-Hobbit. That's right. You did call it that.
I'm looking at it right now. How about that part in the boat when he types Skull Island?
Oh. I have a note about that. What do I say about that? Oh, yeah. Here we go. When a movie that should be 2 hours actually is 3 hours, you need filler, aka too much dialogue, and slow-mo typing scenes. It's just they're trying to introduce tension in that scene by him typing Skull Island SK. It's like, what are you doing here? And I can't stand that type of slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
It's too choppy. It doesn't look right. I think it worked in Lord of the Rings because a lot of it had to, were with orcs and the Uruk-hai and all that stuff. I think it worked there.
Mm-hmm.
But in this type of a film, when they do those slow-mo scenes, it doesn't work. And when they do them, it makes you think of Lord of the Rings. It's like, all the natives look like Uruk-hais for some reason, but it just, and all the natives are white people painted black. Did you notice that? I know, you widescreened again.
Yep.
Yes, you did.
Keep talking.
So I don't know. It just, all of the natives were white people. They didn't even bother to go out and attempt to get people that might even look like they're from this island.
Well, that's the best scene of the film, though.
Well, with the natives?
Yeah. Because,
best scene or not, I just think they should look like they're natives.
All I know
don't spray tan white people.
All I know is when that slow motion hits and they
Yeah.
place Jack Black's like head on the block, and he holds that like bone cleaver up, and the bloody water drips on Jack Black's face. I'm like in the back of the theater. Do it. like that. All of a sudden, the film's picking up. All of it, and then the captain comes on and shoots people, and Jack Black's still alive. But again, film's so long because of all this exposition that you don't need. I have a couple examples. Can I blow by them real quick?
Sure.
Did you notice, for example, that Peter Jackson felt he had to show us Ann Darrow's entire stage vaudevillian stage routine in the beginning?
Yes.
Before because I guess we wouldn't know what the hell she was doing in front of King Kong, right? We had to explain that. Oh, she does that because she's a vaudevillian, right? We're not smart enough to actually pick that up. Also, when she meets Jack Driscoll, oh, I know your stuff. You're a great writer. Really? These two have to know each other already? She already has to be a fan of his?
Right.
You know? The captain takes the time to explain that I make a living capturing live animals, right? And then they have to go to the stack of chloroform bottles in the basement.
Right. They're all piled up. It's like, obviously, he uses this.
Can we just later say, yeah, I collect live animals. Yeah, I've got chloroform. Come on. Right? What do I want to have here? Oh, yeah, like all the deckhands, everybody's heard of Skull Island. So you have all these legends. I hear it's a big thing, and that's a story. And then, of course, there's even like a gorilla face on the map. It's like, just fucking get there, you know?
Right. They could have got to Skull Island in an hour. Or the first act should have been maybe a little backstory. Second act, they're on Skull Island. Third act, New York City. 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Easy.
But it wasn't easy.
And then, of course, the whole middle act is the rescue mission gone horribly wrong.
Right.
We have to save the woman. Again, the woman gets people killed. Dumb blonde gets lost. Let's go save her. All right. 20 deaths later.
Right. Right.
Her. How many men died so this one woman could make it back to Hollywood or New York City, whatever?
Right.
Really? How many men died for that? Was it worth it?
And certainly not.
Could have just been, oh well, there's one less vaudevillian in the world. Everybody back on the boat.
And considering that he found her out of nowhere.
Yeah, right.
She, just like everyone that she knows was leaving, especially the old dude. If she went missing, it probably wouldn't have mattered.
We'll write her disappearance.
Somebody wanted to get their dick wet.
The writer.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And
sorry to sound so crass, but it's the truth.
Yeah, that was very crass. Thank you.
Well, hey.
Yeah. And of course,
the show needs a little crass sometimes.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Oh, this is the scene with the centipede where she purposely opens her mouth.
Yeah.
That's happening right now. It's just it's coming. But it's like, why'd you open your mouth at all? Like, really? And it looks so bad, too. It's another bad green screen.
Is this before or after Agent Brody finds more jewelry?
This is after.
I mean, how bad screenwriting is that? She disappears off the boat. He sees the muddy footprint. Like, there's muddy footprints, right? But he has to find like the bracelet made out of animal bones. Like, wait, maybe it was the savages that took her. Really? Wow, maybe you can figure that out by the guy in the app that has like an arrow stuck out of his head. It's like, well, we didn't bring any spears made out of bone. Oh, and then later on when he's tracking her, he finds like her bracelet. It's like her bracelet. She must be nearby. You had to use the same gimmick twice?
Yeah. Well, again, it's bad screenwriting.
Oh.
All right, here's some numbers for you.
What numbers?
King Kong took $9.7 million in its opening Wednesday. It opened with $50.1 million. Okay?
Yeah.
It goes on to say, however, King Kong was able to hold its audience in its subsequent holiday weeks, ending up becoming a domestic hit, grossing $218 million, even though it cost $200.
Mm-hmm.
King Kong fared much better in the international market, grossing $332 million, totaling $550 million worldwide. Now, this is why Peter Jackson still gets to make movies. This part. Other factors also affect the film's profitability besides box office sales, such as DVD. This is something that I always mention. It sold over $100 million in DVDs alone. It made $140 million because it sold 7.5 million DVDs. This article, for whatever reason, doesn't mention the HD DVD when that was around before Blu-ray won the format war.
Because it didn't sell. Which is why it didn't win the format war.
It made $38 million from rentals on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
So the film has made over $700 million just on box office and DVD rental and sales. That doesn't count the money that they made for cable. It doesn't count any of that stuff. So it's just very profitable. Peter Jackson gets to make more movies in 48 frames per second. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
84% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Fuck them. They're all wrong. They're wrong.
According to this is, and again, this probably will happen if The Hobbit does well. Peter Jackson has expressed his desire to remaster the film in 3D at some point.
He's in the back room.
Jackson was also seen shooting with a 3D camera at times during the shoot of King Kong.
He's in the back room. Again, they've got the ship.
I mean, he's buddies with James Cameron now, so
yeah, it's.
I mean, him and Spielberg collaborated on Tintin. You know, it just Jackson has completely sold out at this point.
He's part of the cabal.
Yeah,
the soulless cabal.
He's become part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When at one point in time, I would have never expected him to even go anywhere near this, or this type of filmmaking. You could probably blame Lord of the Rings on the whole thing, just because of the fact that they gave him $100 million for each film. $300 million to make the trilogy.
But he did what was considered impossible at the time, which was doing a faithful adaptation of this epic story.
This is true.
And he did it. And then he did what no one cared to do, which was create an epic film out of a movie that's already been made.
Yeah.
Twice. And
the scene that's happening now where he's fighting all three T-Rexes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. There's no way she's not crushing to death. I don't care. He doesn't have soft hands.
You want to talk?
There's no way she's not being crushed to death.
Talking probability, sir?
Let's go. Let's do it.
That boat that they sail, right?
Yeah.
You know there's a weight ratio with the coal. That's a coal-burning engine, right?
Of course.
There's a weight ratio involved. When you plan a trip, you have to know how much the boat's going to weigh when it starts and how much it weighs when it stops, because that's how much coal it takes, because there's a difference, right? So you got this.
You just put on an extra, 10 tons?
Yeah. So, well, forget that. So they're wandering around the ocean looking for this island. So you can't. That's not a planned trip. That's just wandering around the ocean. So already their coal weight ratio is off. Then they drop off the island, pick up the 10-ton gorilla. Where's the coal coming for that? Because that's a lot heavier. That's a big load. And now and they got to have less coal than when they started with. Where's all this extra fuel coming from? This is not where they fill up. that alone bullshit.
Well, there is the whole suspension of disbelief stuff, but
no.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that's their argument. That would be their argument.
That would be my argument too. I'll admit I'm copping out on that.
I mean, in the first film, they got the big gorilla to New York City that way too. So, they didn't explain about the coal ratio and the weight and all that stuff. So, to shit on it for this kind of seems like we shouldn't.
But you
can.
If they even in the 70s version, I think they went there expecting to find the gorilla, weren't they? Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, the one with Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges.
And even then, they could go back. They could fly back and get more fuel or something. There was. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a steamer ship out of the Depression. The New York scene. You said you liked the New York stuff at the end.
I like some of the New York. I like most of it actually. I thought.
So you like the car
chase? The car chase was okay. I thought it was unnecessary. I like him escaping the theater.
Hold on.
What?
Godzilla.
Yeah.
In which they have a whole car chase with Godzilla, right?
Right.
Gets King Kong shit canned. So then later on, Peter Jackson finally gets to do King Kong. What does he do? He rips off the car chase scene from Godzilla, but making it with King Kong. Same city.
Yeah.
Still
true.
a taxi cab. Still a taxi cab. Still driving between the monster's legs.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Then, in the middle of this huge debacle, we take a break to go ice skating in Central Park.
Yeah, that.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Let's have.
It's like they're on Lover's Lane.
Yeah.
It's just he's a giant monkey. Come on.
That's also a big thing too, because throughout the years they've created this whole sexual tension between the gorilla and the woman, which is absurd. And that's not in the original King Kong. There's none of that in the original King Kong.
No, of course not. He's just going after something he wants.
Yeah.
And she's scared to shit.
Right. She's like a trinket. There's no love affair here. He's skating with her in Central Park. And at the end,
and again, you want to talk about disbelief? I mean, how much weight can that ice hold? I mean,
there you go.
It probably shouldn't have held him up at all.
No.
The second he stepped on it, probably should have cracked.
Those streets should have cracked. That streets aren't made to handle that kind of weight back then.
Back then, true.
Going through the concrete into the what do you call it?
Well, they did the skyscrapers. Come on. Let's be realistic. He doesn't weigh more than a skyscraper.
Infrastructure. But those have a foundation. He's running on the street. The street's not built to hold skyscrapers. It's built to hold cars. And then there's like pipes and shit underneath the street. And subways underneath the street.
I don't know about the argument of that. I don't know. I don't
know. On that. Come on.
And again, the shit on that, I mean, the first film had the same big giant monkey, running around, so it's not like he was any bigger. And
I tell you right now, my taking out the trash in this film, how I would just this film would be worth it for me.
Yeah.
If after I'll sit through the whole film, but at the end when they're trying to shoot down the monkey that's terrorizing the city, and when she stands up and like waves at the planes that's not to shoot,
they shoot her.
That first one should just cut her right in half. Cut
her
right up the line. Oh, what are you doing? And they listen to her. What?
I guess my taking out the trash.
Yes.
It's not as I just think a shorter cut. Not that I would change anything.
A much shorter cut.
Like the ending. I think the ending should. I think it shouldn't have as much of a love story aspect. I think it should go back to like what we were just talking about. Should go back to just the aggressive gorilla going after what he wants. I think it should go back to that type of storyline. I think it also they should get to the jungle much faster.
Mm-hmm.
They can keep most of the stuff in the jungle. I think some of it worked.
Sure.
But overall, just a shorter film, no love story involved, and get rid of the pond scene of them ice skating in Central Park.
Even get rid of the whole Hollywood thing. Get rid of the filmmaker.
Get rid of that too. Go back to your original cut of the architects, the archaeologists.
We're in search of new buildings. Archaeologists, it could be map makers. Who gives a shit? It could just be like it could have been like a cruise ship that goes like runs aground, like a whole Bermuda Triangle thing. Who cares? It could have been a Lost Island for all I care.
So is that your whole taking out the trash?
Well, that was just the one thing. Yeah, I mean, really, I agree with you. It should have been much shorter, but it's really it had to be a different film entirely because Jack Black's totally miscast. I used to think Adrian Brody was miscast until I saw Predators. Now he seems okay in that role. I'm gonna get his office planet.
Are we done with the movie?
Well, is there any other notes you wanted to add? I mean,
the only thing I have,
I got 14 pages of my article. I could just like pick random parts out if you wanted me to.
The only thing that I have is a fun little fact that I've actually known about for a little while. But I'd like to bring it up on the show here. Back in 2005, when King Kong was being released, they were also, at the same time, making a King Kong video game that came out for the Xbox 360.
Yes, that was like part of the launch, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was a launch game.
Right.
If everybody wants to know the entire reason why the Xbox has been hacked and can play burned games, and you can play games off your hard drive now, and you can do all kinds of operating systems for it and all that shit. It's because yes, it's well known within the hacker community.
That's good to know.
It is good to know. The entire reason why it's possible at all is because of King Kong.
Do tell.
All right. Back in 2005, when they were pushing Xbox 360, the movie came out in December. The Xbox 360 also came out in December. They had, just about everywhere, kiosks with King Kong the game set up on it. You had a system, and you had King Kong the game.
I remember seeing one at Target actually played 2 minutes of it and was totally appalled.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible game.
Yeah.
Graphics are okay. Didn't really show off what the 360 could do, but that's a different point altogether. Apparently, in all of these kiosks with King Kong had completely no security on the game at all. So all one had to do, a hacker had to do, was get a copy of this King Kong game that they had in the kiosks, find where the unsigned code was, and then completely attack the 360 and figure out a way for it to read burned games. And only because of the kiosk King Kong game was that possible. So Microsoft, the reason why their system was hacked was because the King Kong game was released with an unsecure game on it.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
They were able to compromise the system. They were able to figure out how to make the DVD player read burned images, and the rest is history.
And there are actually people out there to this day that actually do that play burned games and have hard drives with games on them.
They do.
Wow, that's cool.
They absolutely. It is kind of cool. If you've seen one in action, it is pretty cool. But we don't condone, playing burned media and games and whatnot. We buy all our stuff.
Of course not. I don't buy anything with Jackson's name on it or Lucas's name.
So that's a nice little factoid for everybody out there. The reason why Xboxes were hacked is because of King Kong,
and it wasn't even a good game.
It was a terrible game.
Yeah. And my publisher, he told me that he was convinced that the only reason they did the whole insect,
which is on now, by the way,
is because that was whoa, there's a level of the video game for you. You had to have that in there.
You know what? And you're right. There is that is in the game.
Yeah.
And this scene here where little Jimmy is shooting at Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Adrian Brody should be eating lead at this point.
But that was humorous, though. That was supposed to be for
but he's like so nervous with this gun, and it's just like he's moving it everywhere. He's like, "Oh my God, stop moving! I'm such a terrible shot." But Adrian Brody, not one scratch.
Of course not. Because you get them off that planet.
You can come with me or you can't.
Yeah.
I don't care.
God's goddamn. I'm getting off this goddamn planet.
I'm getting off this rock.
And at the end of the film, I'm going to take my shirt off. And they're going to have to do some fancy photography because even though I've been working out for 6 months straight, I'm still a scrawny little fuck and there's no way I could beat a predator to death with my bare hands. No fucking way. That's why I'm wearing this 10-pound jacket all through the whole film.
Yeah, I'm doing my best, Clint.
Yeah.
I like it. You love it. Tell me you love it.
I'm the goddamn Batman.
Well, he's got the beak. He should be the Penguin.
Wow, that's mean.
Wow, I know.
Mean.
I thought he was great in The Pianist, and I thought he deserved that Oscar for that movie, too.
You said pianist.
I did say pianist.
He would have been a better Scarecrow.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Scarecrow that's there. I mean, he would have been better as the Scarecrow than as the Penguin.
True. Yeah. If they ever, which they will, after the Dark Knight Rises comes out, someone else will helm the film. If they reintroduce Scarecrow, they probably should get Adrian Brody.
They got to bring back King Tut.
King Tut?
King Tut from the.
I'd love to see someone attempt Clayface personally.
Clayface, there. Which one? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Or and then there's the cartoon.
The cartoon Clayface, I think worked really well.
The cartoon they had all 4 different Clayfaces too.
Well, this is the one back in the mid '90s when.
Yeah, but I think even then they had the actor, and then they had the thief, and then they had the blob, and then they had the girl.
I think the blob one. I'd like to see the blob one. I think I'd like that version. I don't know if they'd be able to do it and make it look good.
Ever since they pulled off the Sandman for Spider-Man, I can't. I'm open to anything except Bane.
Bane, and that remains to be
dumbest
seen.
Fucking villain ever.
That remains to be seen.
It really does, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So you've been listening to Moviesucktastic. You can follow us on iTunes.
Yeah, I don't even have our music queued up.
You can follow us on Zune. You can follow us on Podcast Pickle, Podcast Pup. You can go to Moviesucktastic.com for all your Moviesucktastic needs. You can find the Moviesucktastic community on lunch.com.
That's right.
You can
leave
go
us
to
voicemail
at
908-514-4470.
That number again is
908-514-4470.
Your name is Matt Farley. You can call back and tell us where we can contact you so we can interview you on the show when we review your film.
That's right.
You can also go to Amazon.com and purchase Monster Rally by edited by S. Michael Wilson. Either the Kindle version or the book version. You can also buy my book, performed by Lugosi. If you're a horror fan, you can pick up Butcher Knives and Body Counts, which I have an article in there on the film Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Right.
And if you want to read some of my fiction, my humor, you can pick up Uncle John's Flush Fiction, which just came out, and that's featuring my short story called The Other Foot.
Cool. Any
Anything
wisdom?
else?
No, that's it.
My wisdom?
Yeah. Don't build a fucking supercomputer unless you know it's fucking super.
I didn't want to say anything because I'd be
24 gig of gaming RAM. 24 of DDR3 1600 megahertz RAM.
And what good did that do you?
Nothing. Didn't do a god. As a matter of fact, not only did it do that, but my BIOS completely reset. Every setting I have for the memory, the hard drives, everything gone. It's not hard to put it back in, but come on. Obviously something happened, like major, that it reset my fucking BIOS.
Tune in next week when we do the show over our telephones.
Yeah, we're going to use 2 tin cans and a fucking string.
It'll crash.
Yes, it's fucking... Yeah.
Happy trails.
Yeah. Anyway, we might see you next week.
Do we have the music?
We got the music. I gotta see if I can salvage this fucking episode now.
You can. We'll be good.
Yeah, maybe.
If you're not listening to this, then why am I talking?
That's right. Because I use 2 programs to record us, and one of them I can salvage. I know that. The other one, not so sure. Don't know if it keeps files on the computer in a temporary spot and then deletes them if nothing is saved. I don't know. Don't know, but I will find out. And if you're listening to this, I was successful.
And if you're not listening to it, well, never mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
Anyway.
We may talk to you next week. We probably will. We'll try.
Try.
All right. Talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye.